What is up, you guys? Zora here, back at it again with another video on this channel. This video is going to be quite different than the others. I'm not even going to beat around the bush. Today I'll be telling you guys my coming out story. Wow, crazy to say on camera, but it is what it is, and it's out there in the world. It's already been out there in the world. I just haven't like formally sat down and spoken about it on my platforms or really anywhere other than, I mean, if you know me personally, then you already know, obviously you know the tape. But here we go. So I'm going to preface this by saying that I'm just speaking from my experience. I don't ever want it to seem like I'm speaking for an entire group of people as it pertains to race, gender, sexual orientation, or anything like that, because I'm not doing anything of the sort. So all of the views that I express, all the experiences that I express, everything that I'm saying in here is coming from me. I'm not speaking for the entire LGBTQIA plus community. With that being said, that's the last time I'm saying that whole acronym, because I have a list and it's too many letters and I'm not doing that again. So I'm just gonna umbrella the community together, which is kind of bad to do, but we're just gonna refer to it as the gay community. Oh, I need some water because, you know, stop being a big girl and trying to speak and all this. I'm out of breath already. So let's see, where did it start for me? A little bit about me. So I've been raised Christian. I am a Christian. I love God. You don't love God? What's wrong with you? Okay? Raised Christian, grew up in a Christian household, went to a Baptist church. But I'm fortunate that I haven't had some of the same experiences as other people who were also raised in the church, to where, you know, they got the sermons of fire and brimstone, like, if you're gay, you're going to hell, this is bad, this is sinful. Like, I didn't get all of that. I would just say, moreover, that it wasn't even addressed at all. I don't recall ever hearing any sort of sermon or anything that touched on sexuality or homosexuality, for that matter. Never. That's kind of crazy to think about. But yeah, it's one of those things that they just didn't talk about at all. But I would say that, I guess, the undertone was very much so that, you know, if you're a man, you're going to marry a wife. If you're a woman, you're going to marry a husband. And that's just what it's going to be. From a very young age, I've known I did not and do not want to be married. I did not and do not want to have children. That's kind of changed a little bit, but like, that's been where I've been at. So those talks and those conversations didn't necessarily even affect me, because it's like, okay, that's not something I'm trying to do anyway. I don't know. I don't even know where to begin, because it's just like, how do you talk about coming out? Because I feel like there's not ever one coming out story, because the reality is, if you're somebody who is open and you're out of the closet, and I wouldn't even say that I came out the closet. If we're gonna keep it a stack, I stumbled out the closet. I tripped out the closet. I fell out. I didn't come out the closet, girl. It wasn't supposed to happen. I got gooped. I got gagged. I got caught. And baby girl, now I'm here. It's funny now. I can laugh about it now. And it's been a year since I've like been out, which is kind of funny to think about, because I don't ever recall the time. Think about this. Did you ever sit down with your whole family, or with your parents, or with your close friends? You sat down with them and you were like, you know, I just want to let you guys know that I'm straight. I needed to get that off my chest. I had to vocalize that I am heterosexual. You don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So why do we have to... I could go on for a whole nother video about that. Let's start from the beginning though. Like I said, I was raised in a Christian household. I've known ever since I can remember that I was attracted to girls or women. But I didn't really know how to verbalize it, and I didn't really know what to do about it, because I don't know. To be honest, I didn't really have that much exposure to people who were in that lifestyle. And by lifestyle, I'm not saying like, oh, this is a lifestyle choice, but I mean like, I didn't have any exposure to women that I felt I could identify with, because me growing up, all of the representations that I saw of women who were gay or women who were queer or anything but heterosexual, they were all one way. And I mean, I'm gonna age myself, but I feel like everybody was like, okay, if she's more masculine, if she's not, you know, face beat, if she's wearing baggy clothes, if she plays basketball, if she does this, she does that, oh, she's gay. They obviously use a different term, but like the only way that I saw growing up, the only way that I saw women who like other women was through the image and the gender expression of women who were masculine, and I just knew that wasn't me. Don't get me wrong, I definitely love sports. I'm extremely competitive. I love to work out. I played basketball. I played lacrosse. I did all of these things. I played with the boys most of the time growing up. You know what I'm saying? But don't also get it wrong. I also love a beat face. I love a lash. I clearly love nails at the moment because I'm out these streets, if you know what I mean. But there are many different things that I felt didn't fit into the box of like, okay, this is what you're supposed to be like, and this is how you're supposed to speak, this is how you're supposed to act, and if you're this way, then you have to be this, and that's just not me, that's not realistic. But I didn't know how to verbalize it. So I'm not a gold star. I've been with men, I've dated men, I've had boyfriends. I would say I've only had one serious boyfriend. The others, you know your place. that's no tea. You just know what you were. But you know, I've dated men. But my thing is, I knew from my experiences with them, I'm not even gonna dog anybody out. I just the connection, the spark, it was there, but it wasn't like there. I'm just like, okay, like, is this it? Is this what I should be feeling? Like, is this what I should be feeling? Because growing up in high school, I mean, I didn't date people in high school. That's weird. I mean, you're not even really dating people in high school anyway, but I definitely didn't date any of the guys who I knew. Because no shade, they're all called cool guys or whatever. But I've known them since I was in the 3rd grade. Like, that's weird. That's bizarre to me. I guess I would say that I've known this for a while. I've lived this all of my life. Obviously, I don't want to ever make it seem like being gay or being open with your sexuality and not being, you know, societal conforming is a choice, because it's definitely not a choice. I believe I was born this way. I believe everyone is born the way that they are, and they go through life and they live life as they are. But I will say that for me personally, it was just something that I didn't understand because I didn't see, and I didn't know women. I knew men or boys who were gay and identified as that and lived their lives as that, but I didn't know any women who were gay, and the only expressions of women who were gay that I saw were not people who I could identify with, because I wasn't that exact way, you know? So for me, it was something that I didn't necessarily come to terms with until I got older, and honestly I started taking more classes in gender and women's studies, and I started to understand more and come to my own belief that sexuality is a spectrum. You're not gay and straight and that's it. Like, that's not realistic. That's not real life. You know what I'm saying? That's not how things are. This is my own personal belief that sexuality is fluid and it's on a spectrum. Like, I mean, I don't really know how else to break it down. So as I was in class and I was learning more and more about this, learning more and more about terms to use and how one could identify themselves, I was like, you know, this is now making sense to me, because I didn't know the language of how to express it before, but now I'm like, okay, this is adding up, this is making sense, this is connecting. And the more exposure that I had to knowledge and the verbiage for how to express what I was feeling, the more I started to understand myself, and I started to understand other people around me and how things fit in, and how, you know, I just started to understand life. And I would definitely say that me going to the college that I went to, going to VCU, being around such diverse people, definitely helped me become more comfortable with myself, and even made me think that it was okay for me to question things that I thought that I knew about myself before, to explore and find out who I really am. crazy to say because so much has happened from the point of me coming out to now, and it's kind of funny, but it's like growth, you know, it's like crazy. So let's dive into the coming out scenario story. That's just background on like what it is. And for those wondering how I would identify myself, I personally choose not to label myself because I feel like it's not necessary. It's not necessary for me in my life. I get that labels are necessary for other people to understand like what kind of box to treat you in. For some people it's necessary for them to understand how or to what degree they're going to respect you, but labels are not something that I practice in my everyday life, nor are they something that people around me necessarily adhere to. So I just feel like it's not necessary. But if you had to put a label on oh, excuse me, goodness, see, that's what the devil do. He try to grab you and snatch your truth, but not today. Okay, if you had to put a label on how I would identify myself as far as my sexual orientation, the label that I would use is queer, period. That's just what it would be. I don't feel the pressure to subscribe and say, hey, I am lesbian, I'm bisexual, I mean, those would be the only options for me, or heterosexual, obviously, but that's not the case. Let me just dive right into it. So for me, coming out per se, it was very important for me to communicate this to the people I care about the most, who are the closest to me. The first of which, obviously, the easiest group to express this to would be my friends. And the process of that was quite simple. I mean, I was in an on and off relationship with somebody for about 3 years. So when that ended, I said, you know what? I should explore this, because prior to that, I had not seriously dated a woman or entertained a woman on a serious level. So I said, you know, I should explore this now. I mean, I'm not attached to anybody. I have nothing but time and opportunity, and I'm feeling this way. I should figure this out. So at the time, I wouldn't even call it entertaining. I was conversating with an individual, with a woman, and I would send him the text. My friend like, I think she's trying to like, you know, and they're like, I mean, you should do it. I mean, it was that simple. It was literally just a text being sent to my friends, and then being like, girl, at the end of the day, we just want you to be happy. We care about you, whether it's a man or a woman. We want you to be happy, baby girl. That is what it is. So I'm fortunate that I had those kind of people around me to support me and encourage me to do whatever I needed to do to feel comfortable, and you know, they just encouraged me to do whatever I want to do, which is quite commonly not the experience for others. So overall, I would say that, I mean, they really didn't care. All my girls are still my girls. They supported me. They don't care. They're just kind of like, most of them were not shocked, because I would say things before and joke around and talk about things and be like, you know, I'm gonna do this, but I don't know if I would do that to them. I might let them do that to me, but I don't know. But girl, that's out the window. We do it all. But really. So after I told my friends, everyone was really accepting. Honestly, they didn't really care. Like, they just want me to be happy, healthy, and not be disrespected, whether it be from a man or a woman. That's pretty much the point of view that they had. So I started dating someone who I cared about a lot, and I saw a future with. So for me, it became more and more important to, at some point, need to come out to my family and let them know what's going on and communicate with them, because obviously that was somebody who I wanted to be around, who I was always consistently spending time with. I was in like multiple times a week, and so, you know, they had spent the night at my parents' house, who I'm staying with my parents at the moment. So, or post-college, I guess, or post-graduation, and post-situation. You know, we're just gonna get down to the nitty-gritty, because I'm already being transparent anyway. Something occurred after I graduated. My parents felt it would be best for me to come back up here, so that, you know, they could support me through the traumatic experience. So I came up here, and I've been up here since. So it's difficult and it's weird being an adult pressuring me to come out and was not pressed about it. And you know, out of respect for this person, I'm not even going to mention their name. Let's give them a fake name. We'll call them Kyla. Out of respect for this person, because I don't even know if she's all the way out to all of her family, we're just going to call her Kyla. And I think for our situation, it was easy for them to believe that it was just like another friend or another girl because she was feminine as well. So, or feminine presenting in her gender representation, feminine as well. So, around the time that she and I got together, I also started to take therapy seriously. I was already in therapy a little bit, but I'm gonna be honest and say that I wasn't committed to anything that I was learning or doing for the first couple of months because I felt like I had to be there, like I was forced into the situation, so I wasn't really taking it seriously. But as her and I's relationship started to grow and develop, I also started to get more comfortable with actually committing to the process of therapy. And I think that definitely, I know that definitely changed my view on articulating how I was feeling in my current situation to my parents, and being just more transparent and honest with them and with, you know, certain members of my family, because I felt like it was important, especially if this person is in their home, this person is around me, we're spending a substantial amount of time together. But I also didn't want to feel rushed into doing it. I think that when you are coming to this, especially if this is a realization that you're coming to over a period of time, it's important that you take the time that you need and you do it when you're comfortable. You know, don't feel pressured to do it. Don't get forced into doing it. It's really imperative that you do it when you're comfortable on your terms, because it's your experience to have, and it's your experience to give and share with others. So with that being said, I would say that I've definitely been more fortunate than others, and also the fact that when I was going through this and trying to understand and even come to the conclusion that I've come to now, I had the support of my therapist. Shout out my girl Angelique, that's my girl. I had the support of a therapist to kind of aid me, and I would tell her, like, I don't know, like, I want to tell my family, but I'm scared, like, what if they... My main thing was not that they were going to disown me. I'm not grown, but I'm like old, like I'm an adult. But it's weird, it's different when you're an adult and you're, you know, in a transitional period and you're living with your parents, because you still have to be respectful of their rules. I just didn't want me to tell them this information and then be like, okay, well now so-and-so can't come over to the house and you're not going to be in and out the house this, because I was out the house frequently. Like, you know, I was on the move, you know how it is, you be on the move. So I didn't want me telling them that to change how I was living, and them put like rules and regulations on who can and can't be at the house and try to like block what I had going on because they weren't accepting of whatever. And it was my perception based off of like just things that they said in the past, just background. My dad is Jamaican. If you have any Caribbean household or any Caribbean parents in your household, or if you know any culturally different parents, you know, particularly Jamaican, you know, they not with that Batty boy stuff, okay? Batty boy, Batty girl, it's a no. So I was nervous, especially with like some of my extended family, that I would be judged, that my family would feel away. I didn't think they were gonna disown me, but I just felt like they were not going to understand what I was saying. They were not going to feel where I'm coming from, that they would think it was a phase based on the experience that even brought me back up to this area, and that they would just kind of invalidate how I was feeling and feel like, you know what, like, you don't know what you're talking about. So the time had come to where I was just starting to feel like, okay, I need to do this. And I was talking myself up. I was waiting for the perfect moment, but the reality is there's no perfect moment. Like, you just need to do it. And so one day, I was in the car with my brother, and we were driving to, I think it's called like Deep Creek or something. I don't know. We were driving, it was his spring break, and we were driving to some like ski lodge or whatever. Excuse me. So we were driving to the ski lodge, and I told him, I was just driving, and I decided a couple days before I talked to my therapist about it too. I was like, okay, because I thought my whole family was supposed to be coming on the trip. It just ended up being my mom, and my brother and I. And my mom drove in a separate car because she was coming back earlier, and it was just my brother and I in the car. So when I thought we were all going, I told my therapist, like, this is the weekend. It's perfect. We're all gonna be together. We're all gonna be family vibes, and I'm just gonna tell them, you know what, family, like, I'm dating this person, I'm dating Kyla, and you know, I said that was my friend, but that's actually my girlfriend, and this is what it is. But that didn't happen. So my dad ended up not coming on the trip, and so my brother and I, we were in the car, and I just said, you know, Sinclair, I said, you know Kyla? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, you know how she's been around a lot lately? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, well, I know I told you that that's my friend, but that's actually my girlfriend. Like, we're dating. And he just looked at me. And then I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, well, are you just dipping your toe in the water, or are you swimming? And I was like, I mean, we've been dating for about 4 months, so I guess you could say I'm swimming. And he was like, nigga, you're not swimming, you're drowning. He's like, you're drowning. And I was like, I am, figuratively and literally. I mean, that's just what it was. He had no real reaction. Other than that, he was just like, okay. He was like, I don't really care. I just want you to be happy. And I'm pretty sure that's how he feels now. Like, I'll ask him, if he's around, I'll you know, ask him how he feels, and maybe he can talk about it. Hold on, let's see. I'm about to get it. Hold on.
I don't.
We are joined by my brother. You want to introduce yourself?
My name is Sinclair.
You want to tell them anything?
Why did you get a hand on my neck?
Okay, sorry.
Clutching my throat. What do you want?
I'm just telling them about coming out. You don't care?
No, who does?
You didn't. How did you feel when I told you?
I can't live your life, Zora.
You don't care at all. You don't care about me. Then we have it.
As long as you ain't crazy, I don't care.
Well, what about as long as I'm happy?
I mean, you know, you could be gay and still be depressed. Right?
That's true. But I'm saying.
Well. I don't care. Do what you gotta do, say what you gotta say.
Pressure coming, because this is the main event. This is what really set it off. Okay, this is where, like I said, I didn't come out the closet. I tripped, I stumbled, I fell, and it's all because of this. You see this? Look at this necklace. This has my name on it, Zora. Right? You see that? And it's funny now. Looking back at it, it's funny. In the moment, it was not funny. So, like 2 months after I told Sinclair, or a month and a half, I don't know. It was probably like a month after I told Sinclair. I had always been wearing this necklace. I got this for my significant other, and at the time, I got one with my name on it and one with her name on it. And we both wore each other's names. So neither of us had our own name. So I would wear it, but I just wouldn't show it. Like, I would wear it in public and I would wear it at work. Like, one day my boss saw the name and they were like, oh, is your middle name Kyla? And I'm like, no, that's my girlfriend's name. So both came out to them just like that. And they were like, oh, that's cool. Like, where'd you get those necklaces? Like, they don't care. Or if they did care, they didn't express it. So I would, you know, we would wear these necklaces frequently. And, you know, it's just something cute, some cute little relationship, lesbian stuff. You know the lesbians move fast, honey. You know the gay girls move fast. So at this point, 4 months when we had these, I mean, I think I gave this to her like after a month. So this might as well have been the pre-engagement ring. Well, you know how, if you're here with me, if you're one of us, you already know how we do. I mean, 4 months we were damn near married at that point, like. So, you know, we would both wear these necklaces, and one day I came home from work and I still had the necklace on. Mind you, it looks like this, but it didn't say my name on it, it said her name on it. And usually when I would get home, I would go to the gym and then after I go to the gym, I'd shower, come and eat dinner or whatever. So I had forgotten to take the necklace off, because when I was in the house, I either had a sweatshirt on and kept it on, or I just took it off altogether because my parents still didn't know. And obviously it would be obvious that something's going on if I had a necklace that had this new friend of mine's name on it. So I came home one day and I came downstairs and my mom was doing something in the kitchen, and I was sitting like this and I was on my phone, just like this. I was on my phone, and then she looked at my necklace and she was like, "Why does your necklace have Kyla on it?" And I was like, I was stuck. I was like, what? I was like, what? In that moment, I was thinking to myself, okay, if you pass out right now, this event never happened. Don't say anything for long enough and it will go away. I was completely thrown off guard. I was unprepared for the conversation. She was like, don't ask me what do I mean. You know what I mean. Why does your name have why does your necklace have Kyla's name on it? And I was just like, and I looked down like this. Playing stupid as hell. I looked down and I was like, it does? And she's like, yes, you know it does. And she was like, so what is going on? What does that mean? And I was like,
ooh. Say ooh.
It means that she's my girlfriend. And then we both just looked at each other. I was stuck. I gagged. I got gooped.
And
And I was like this. I was like, what? What do you mean? And she's like, who knows about this? And she's like, does your brother know about this? And I'm like, yeah, he knows. And she's like, who else knows about this? And I'm like, I mean, all my friends know. They've known from the beginning for a couple of months now. She's like, how long has this been going on? I'm like, it's been going on. At that point, it was like 4 or 5 months. So she was like in disbelief. And she was like, is that why you cut your hair? Because I had just shaved my head at that point, and I had a lot of natural hair. And I'm like, no, like I've shaved my head before, like, you know, and I was like, you have short hair. So like, and then, you know, girl, I got
You got me now. You got me now. You figured me out. You figured me out. You got me red-handed. You got me red-handed.
At that point, everything that I had talked about with my therapist about things that I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it and what perfect thing I would say in the perfect moment went out of my head and out the window. I was speechless. I didn't know what to say. And so she was just kind of like, well, one of the things that she expressed was that she felt disappointed, not in me doing that, but she definitely said that she feels like it's a phase and I can check back in with her in 5 years and we'll see if that's still the case. And she definitely also said that like she didn't appreciate me being dishonest about who the person was, which I understand, because the story that we told them was such an elaborate lie. It was so crazy. We told my parents that, because she's from up in DC, so we told my parents that we knew each other because I was in a modeling troupe on campus at VCU, and her cousin was also in the modeling troupe as well, but her cousin went to VSU, so I only saw them, you know, infrequently. And then one day she was down in VSU visiting this imaginary cousin who was on the modeling troupe with me, and that's how we became friends. That's the story that we told my parents. So stupid looking back. Because the reality is we just met on gay Tinder or lesbian Tinder, whatever you want to call it. But it's funny looking back. In the moment, it was not funny. She was just kind of like, she was like, well, I'm going to tell your dad. And I'm like, you can't tell him that. Like, that's not your place to tell him. That's not your information to share. She's like, well, I'm going to tell so-and-so. And I'm just like, that's not your information to share. It's my information to share. So she was like, okay, well, when your dad gets home, you're going to tell him. And I was like, okay. Because at that point, I was already got. So I kept the necklace on, and she was waiting at him at the door, waiting for him. When he came upstairs, she was like, right here, right by me in the kitchen, like. And I was like, I said, you know, Dad, you know my friend Kyla? And he was like, yeah, what about her? And I was like, well, that's actually my girlfriend. And he was like, okay. He had no reaction. He was just like, okay. He was like, I mean, if that's what you say, but you don't really know what you want. Like, you'll figure it out with time. And at the end of the day, like, I don't really care about that. What I care about is that you have your head on your shoulders and you don't let this distract you from pursuing your goals, and that you're happy. I don't really care who you're with or whatever. I don't think that this is the case. I think that it's a phase. That's what both of them expressed that they thought. Or that maybe they still think. I think to a certain degree they still think. They think that it's a phase, but baby, it's not a phase. It's what it is. But you know, he didn't care. He gave no reaction. He was just kind of like, okay. So I mean, that's what it was. They didn't have some major crazy reaction. I thought the reaction would be much worse. I thought it would be like, I don't know. I just thought that they would be like, ugh, I don't know. I don't know what I thought they would be like, which I guess is a positive thing. Because it's like, you can't put expectations and pressure on people, because they might not even respond the way that you think that they will. And for my case, my parents did not. They were minimal to no response. My mom was just disappointed that I was deceitful and lied, which I can understand. And let's see, in the same conversation, she did say to me, she was like, so what does this mean? Does this mean I have to go get a rainbow flag and put it on my car? She said that like minutes after I told her, and I appreciated that. I was like, wow. Because at the end of the day, both of them, everyone who I have around me now at this point, they don't care who I'm with. They just want me to be happy, and they want me to be healthy, and they want me to pursue my goals vigorously. And I appreciate that, especially because I know that, especially, you know, in this community, I know a lot of people don't have support from people around them, and I would say that I've been fortunate enough to have a strong support system, and as well as fortunate enough to have access to a great therapist. Shout out my girl Angelique again. I can't, you know what? Shout out to her for real, because I was saying, like, looking back on how things are now from how they were before when I first came out, I'm significantly more comfortable with myself, with my sexuality, with everything. And I'm not going to say that that has to do with me coming out, although I will say me being out of the closet has lifted a major weight off of my shoulders. I think a large amount of like the clarity that I have now has come from me actually committing to and putting things into practice that I learned in therapy. That has been the greatest shift and the greatest change that's occurred since I've come out. Other than that, nothing has really changed for me since I've been out. I mean, things have changed, but they haven't changed as a result of me being out. They've changed, like I said, as a result of me like committing to therapy. And I mean, that everything with therapy can be a whole separate video, but I would say that everyone around me has been accepting. I will say that I have had a couple weird experiences of like non-acceptance from like this deranged person from my past, this former friend who's like, if you're watching, which I'm sure you are, baby girl, seek help. You probably need it. But she did send me this condescending text, and it was like so bizarre and out of the blue and deranged, like I said. And other than that, somebody did call me a the other day, which was crazy. First of all, this man yelled at me in the middle of traffic. I was just listening to Megan Thee Stallion in my car, minding my business, stuck in traffic, coming home from work. This man called me a out the window. I gagged, obviously, because I don't think that slur can apply to me because I'm a woman, which is what I said. I said, excuse me? And he said, you heard me. And he said it again. And I was like, wow, because that can't apply to me. Like, I'm a woman. It'd be one thing if you call me butch or dyke or whatever, but like, you're giving me, you know, I feel bad. I really feel bad, and I don't feel bad because you used a slur against me. I feel bad because you're clearly an idiot and you tried to come to a gunfight with a knife. It's 2019. You have to come a little bit harder than that. If you're gonna try to read me, if you're gonna try to insult me, come a little bit harder. You know, people have taken back that word. You you calling people that own the word now, it has less significance. It may still be offensive to some, but I wasn't even offended because it's like, girl, that doesn't even apply to me, sir. You used the wrong slur. So now here I am reading you for filth and you busted ass God. Because they're stupid. Other than that, I haven't really had any majorly negative experiences. Somebody did steal, though, and the reason he knew, you might be asking, how do you know that you were gay just because you were in your car? Because I had a pride magnet on the back of my car. Somebody stole last weekend. Somebody stole the magnet off my car. So if you stole that magnet off of my car, I just want you to know, whoever stole my magnet, you're trifling as hell, okay? You're a trifling. I hope you permanently lose your sense of smell and your mama's a hoe. And I don't regret saying that because you stole my magnet and that's trifling. Other than that, nothing else has really happened. You know, I would say that I've been fortunate enough to have like a very positive, one of the more positive experiences than others in the gay community. And I'm appreciative of that, and I'm fortunate of that, because I know that there are a ton of people who do not have supportive families. I know that there are a ton of people who do not have supportive friends. I know that there are a significant amount of people who don't have access or the means for a therapist to help guide them and aid them as they're trying to figure things out. And I'm so appreciative that I've had all of those resources and all of those things as I become more comfortable with myself. Looking back, since it's been like almost or just over a year since I've been out, I mean, you know, it's been cool, you know what I'm saying? In this past year, I've had my first lesbianist love and my first lesbianist heartbreak. Well, if you really want to be honest, if you want to keep it a sack with how quickly the gay girls move, at this point, I had my first marriage and my first divorce. Because that's, I mean, y'all know how we do. What else? I went to my first Pride. I went to Pride single at this point. I went to DC Pride last week. That was my first single Pride. I'm going to Chicago Pride this weekend, or this upcoming weekend. Well, by the time I upload this weekend. And it's going to be my birthday. And I'm single in these streets, so, you know, it's going to be fun. And what else? I mean, like I said, I have an immense amount of clarity and immense amount of self-awareness, but I wouldn't give any of that to me being out. I would just say, you know, that's just where I'm at now. Things have changed significantly. I feel like when I was first out, or when I was first openly expressive with my partner at the time, and we were, you know, in public, I would subconsciously not do certain things because I was afraid of how others would view me and how others would view us as a couple. But no, I don't really give a damn. I don't care. I really don't. And one of the things that even pushed this, or not even pushed this, but one of the things that made me think, like, you just have to live for you, and you really have to own who you are and be comfortable with who you are, is and this is gonna sound even crazy to say. I don't know if y'all remember when Bruce Jenner transitioned to Caitlyn Jenner, but I specifically remember saying that and thinking to myself, I don't want to wait until I'm 70 years old to finally have the courage to live comfortably and live how I want to live. I would hate to go through the majority of my life not being true and authentic to who I am and honoring my feelings and my emotions because I'm afraid of how my actions could affect those around me, those who aren't living my life, and you know, they're living their own lives. Everybody lives their own lives. So yeah, I understand people, you know, people may be afraid, and I understand because I was afraid too, but then ultimately I got pushed into the situation to a certain extent, and the result was fine. I definitely understand though, and I can empathize with people who are not in similar situations where they may feel comfortable enough to come to their family and let them know what it is or how they're feeling. But all I can do is encourage you and let you know. And let me tell you something that I heard a couple weekends ago at DC Pride. So we were all standing there, and this older gentleman, he got all of our attention, and he was like, everyone listen. And he was like, I'm a parent, and if any of you are here and your parents don't love you or don't support you because of who you are, I love you. And look around you. I just want you to know that I am your family, we are your family, we love you. Gagged me. I mean, that was almost too much for the cancer in me to take. I almost wept. And it didn't, like, that sentiment didn't apply to me, but just know that you have people around you. If they're not your family, if you lose friends over this, find a group of people who at least can support you and be there for you, because I understand it may be difficult depending on where you live, depending on how you were raised, to have the courage to be who you are and live your truth, but I just say you have to do it, you know? You have to do it. But I will also say that I think that my experience may be different than others just because of also how I present myself. And when I say present myself, I mean my gender expression, because I am very feminine. Although I would say that I'm honestly a balance, because you'll definitely catch me all the time in slides, sneakers, or joggers. I like to be comfortable. That's why I try not to put labels on myself, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what I want anyway. Like, whether it be expression through clothing, expression through makeup or no makeup, piercings, tattoos, whatever, I'm gonna do what I want at the end of the day. So I try not to even put myself in any sort of box. But I will say that I think that, and this could be a whole video on itself, but I have benefited from the privilege. I wouldn't call it pretty privilege, because that sounds very vain and like very stupid, but I definitely think that, like, if you are someone who identifies as a member of the gay community and you look heteronormative and you look heterosexual, you definitely have a certain amount of privilege that others who may not choose to express their gender in the heteronormative way don't have. And that probably saves you from a lot of the discrimination or disrespect that you could experience because of you just being the way that you are. That's not to say that you're better than anyone, because no one's better than anyone, but it is to say that, like, I can acknowledge that I may not have some of the same difficulties as somebody or as a woman who presents extremely masculinely, and I mean, yeah, that's just that. I present very feminine because that's just who I am. Others present masculine because that's just who they are. But at the end of the day, whether you're masculine presenting or feminine presenting, if you're gay, you like women. That's in conclusion, I would say that in this past year and in my experience of coming out or tripping out of the closet, I would say one of the big things that I've learned is that there's a major difference between acceptance and tolerance. I think it's also important to know that while you are making this transition into being more open and honest with yourself, that those around you, they're also making the transition as well. So you should just be sensitive to that in terms of being open to uncomfortable conversations that they may ask you. I mean, my friends ask me questions all the time, and I'd much rather them ask me a question than go out into the public and say something that is very ignorant and problematic. So that's something to anticipate and expect. That the reality is, although there's a lot of nowadays there's more and more representation of people in the gay community on TV and in media, most people do not know people who are gay in their everyday lives. They don't actually know somebody. They don't have actual relationships with someone who they care about, or somebody who's in the community. So you have to be cognizant of that and understand that, yeah, sometimes people may say things that aren't necessarily the most politically correct, but if there's somebody who you care about is the key word, then, you know, you have to educate. You don't have to do anything, but if you care about the person and you don't want them to look or sound like a fool in public, educate them and understand that it's going to take time for them to, they're not going to know every single pronoun, they're not going to know every single term, or that you may or may not want to be labeled a certain way. No, I feel like they should, you know, being labeled a certain way is something that they should get into. And that will come with time, just like your comfort will come we can never get back.
Boy, if you don't.
I don't know why I said that. That was so stupid. But you know, thank you for watching this. As someone who's out, you never stop coming out, because at the end of the day, when you make new relationships or you interact with new people, you have to make the conscious decision, depending on the context of the conversation, whether that's something you're going to disclose or not. Personally, I believe it's not everyone's business, but I'm not going to, at this point, I'm not going to shy away from saying the truth if the conversation calls for it. So, I mean, I'm sure that's not the first. It may be the first story that I have, but it's definitely not the last, because as you grow to be more comfortable with yourself and you're around different people, that would just be what it is. I mean, you'll get more and more comfortable. I mean, that's not one aspect of you. It doesn't define you. It doesn't make you who you are. It's just one aspect of yourself that makes you who you are. And for me, being queer is one part of me that makes me Zora. That's just, it just is what it is. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, if you want me to talk about other things, if you want me to get into the idea of no labels, if you want me to get into the concept of privilege that certain lesbians or queer women have over other queer women, if you want me to get into conversations on how to educate those around you who may say certain things that are ignorant